Welcome to another Burgundy with Tweedy video. Some Gevrey Chambertin. It's a 2018 vintage. This is a producer called Tortochot. I can't remember if I've featured any on Burgundy with Tweedy before, but I've definitely had a bottle of this, and I have a feeling it was in a Tweedy Outdoors video. I'll put it, I always get this corner wrong. I think it's going to be that corner. I'll put a link up there. I don't think I actually gave it much in the way of tasting notes, unfortunately. And it may not have been the same named vineyard either. Can't remember much about it. But this is a vineyard called Corve. Before opening that up, just the other day in my YouTube recommendations, randomly I ended up with a video from Jancis Robinson. I got the feeling it was quite an old one, looking at the hairstyles. I'll perhaps put a link to this as well in that corner, or whichever corner it is. And she was talking about Burgundy. So Jancis Robinson, for those of you not familiar, is probably, I would say, one of the UK's most famous professional wine tasters, wine experts, has her own series of books, website, all of that stuff. One of the sort of most well-recognised authorities probably on wine in general. Gets through, I suppose, a reasonable amount of Burgundy as part of that, but doesn't purely focus on Burgundy. She said that Burgundy, when it's great, is absolutely fantastic, but about 4 times out of 5 she is disappointed. I thought, wow, I mean, that's kind of staggering, isn't it? Considering the crazy prices of Burgundy, that people, the idiots like me, persist with this ridiculous hobby. As a quick experiment, I glanced through the last 10 wines that I've done tasting notes for on this channel. From that 10, there were 3 strong hits, and 7 that were kind of in the realm of okay to actively disappointing. But in terms of wines that I thought were, really good and I would buy again, I think it was only 3 out of the last 10. So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting aside. What a ridiculous carry-on this is. Colour-wise, that looks on the sort of darker side of the spectrum, possibly there. Tiny bit jammy nose-wise. I'm not necessarily writing this off already. 2018 is that vintage that has that risk of jamminess, but yeah, something a little bit like cherry jam, not in a bad way so far. As I say, I'm not writing it off yet, but yeah, that's sort of perhaps veering more into more general cherry territory now. Spider in front of the can you see the little look there? Tried to gate crash my Burgundy video. On the palate though, that is nice. I'm trying to think of the exact balance of words. Well, first of all, it's very nicely balanced. There is a hint of sweetness there, but the acidity is lovely, carries it along very nicely, and it's quite delicate. I don't think it's sort of thick or jammy on the palate. So as I say, that initial whiff of slightly sort of jammy note on the nose wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Really quite rich cherry on the palate. It's quite clean, it's quite pure. And stylistically, this reminds me a tiny bit of Gavigny's Nuit Saint-Georges. It has that kind of lovely, clean, pure fruit. Really fresh, really bright, really fruity, really pure. Not really much to speak of in terms of tannins or wood influence or spice or anything like that. This really is leaning very heavily on the fruit in a good way. I like that. Bright, bold acidity. I'm going to add that to the list of hits, I think. I forgot to mention this is another wine from Davy's. I'm still working my way through that case of 6 that I got from them recently. I think by Gevrey Chambertin standards, always have to caveat this with I expect to pay £60 plus for Gevrey Chambertin. This came in at 48, which I thought was a bargain for something that, in my opinion, is absolutely ready to drink now. It is a 2018, and I have mixed feelings about that vintage, but in this specific case, I think this has turned out very well. And, a lot of wine shops now, as I often say, you will struggle to buy anything pre-2020. So I think sub £50 for something pre-2020 that is in very good condition now, and I think it's a beautiful wine. I think it would be fair to say probably some purists or some extreme Gevrey Chambertin / Burgundy fans might find this a tiny bit on the simplistic side, and they might say, oh, we want a bit more from it. Like I say, it is all about sort of clean, pure fruit. And people might say, oh, well, it's a little bit, where are the tertiary notes and so on. But if you're looking for something that has kind of a backdrop of sous-bois, forest floor, and tobacco and tannic notes and all of that woody, sort of earthy, Brettanomyces influence, whatever, or any of that nonsense, this isn't going to be the wine for you. But if you like clean, pure fruit expression, I think it delivers on that. very well. I'm incredibly happy with that given the price. Good.